where the hum begins. I am in a place where water rolls across the stones, rippling in ranges too high for human tones to mimic. It is a place where mountains loom over land so low it is almost level with the sea. Every time I did a poem in public, most of it was poem that came out of the pain of being in law school. They told me that you need to decide whether you want to be a crusader or a lawyer. And I think I chose crusader. After I finished law school and I still was living in the Berkeley, Oakland area, I again became pretty much involved, and that's when I started to practice more as a public poet. Certainly, I carry stories of my family and stories of my culture, but I am particularly drawn to the earth, the trees, the birds, the seas. Many people, if they don't really know anything about me, they kind of have their own idea about what me, a black woman in America in this time, is all about. And the last thing that they think that I might be about is the ocean or the mountains or the flower by the side of the road. That's what is sort of at my core, comes out in my poetry even unintentionally. To be a poet who can be maybe called an environmental educator, maybe be called a poet of nature, a place, that's really to me my highest calling. I consider myself a public poet. I am very open to people asking me to come for this event or that event and having a poem or writing a poem, etc. To quote Shelley, that poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. So one of the things is the community gives us permission to speak our minds, and the implication is that we're speaking truth. I don't know whether every poem is a poem of truth, but it is something that we tend to trust as sort of like the bottom line on, whether it's a tree, a flower, or a person, or something we observe. We try and get down to the basic core of it, the essential essence of it. Is I have an objective of making a difference in the world. And, I'm a big peacemaker, and my motto has been for a number of years, world peace through human understanding. And I feel that poetry is one of the ways that I work on helping people understand each other, themselves, and things about the world and existence. I feel most of our conflict comes from misunderstanding. So I feel that being a mediator, a person involved in conflict resolution, a poet, I think they kind of all come from the same root word, to heal. Mediare, the Latin word meaning to heal. I came to Santa Barbara to wait a year, to live a year while Rod finished school, and that was about 32 years ago.
For I, Helene Schneider, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Santa Barbara, California, do hereby declare April as National Poetry Month and celebrate the appointment of Poet Laureate Sojourner Kincaid Rolle. Congratulations.
As outgoing Poet Laureate, I have learned that the muse does not always call. Here's the red phone, so that if you need to call the muse.
Here, a poet's refuge, the yellow pad, to match your yellow umbrella. Now, aren't you glad?
With this wreath, we thee crown, Poet Laureate of our town.
I must say that this is a signatory event. This is a community that loves poetry, and they have not wasted any words in telling me about it. I think for 6 months after I was elected, I was still getting letters. I got gifts, I got cards. I had people stopping me on the street. People say, well, you're going to be the Poet Laureate for California or for the U.S. Who knows what that kind of future is, but it's not something that I say, okay, my next goal is to be the California State Poet Laureate. You know what I mean? It's just I don't have those kinds of objectives. Becoming Poet Laureate was not one of my aspirations per se. But in fact, I did allow myself to be nominated, and I was selected for this 2-year term. And I can tell you that it's something that has been just one of the most glorious things that I've ever had experienced in my life. Yeah, I think you come to those places in your life where you say, well, don't let me know. I always do when I'm in the middle of a project. I say, oh, I don't want anything to happen to me now until I get this done. So I come to plateaus in my life where I say, okay, I've got this done, so it's okay if I don't get to the next, if I never do anything else, at least I got this done. When it comes to Poet Laureate, I feel like it is like the biggest of that feeling that I've ever had. That I've come to this place where if this is my legacy of my life and the collective whatever that came into me being in this place at this time, that I feel it is a satisfactory to me representation of my life. In the distance, I can hear water falling fast from a high plateau, brushing the slopes of the solid earth at sharp angles, diving into the flow. Where it falls, a continuous splash issues. It is at this place I dwell, between calm and turmoil, between yang and yin, between memory and amnesia, between today and tomorrow, between sate and want. In the magic hour, where the tide changes, in the right moment, where each second becomes the next, in the pull of the moon, where the water ebbs and flows. In this place I stand, on land rocky like a river, land where boulders abide, deep within the soil. It is a place of peace, even as on the billowing sea.